Today's webinar will be on the topic of AI-powered QA, so next generation test management for modern engineering teams. Now, in today's rapid evolving landscape of software development, quality engineering teams, right, are on constant mounting pressure to deliver high quality software and swiftly. Now, we all know that when we perform manual test cases, when we go ahead and have manual processes in place, it can be quite time consuming. It can consume a lot of bandwidth and resources as well. So now in today's day and age, integrating AI into your testing process has become pivotal. And especially for QA teams aiming to enhance their efficiency and also enhance their accuracy. So in today's session, we'll be covering the current landscape of AI in software testing and the software development space as well. AI implementation of on different features across the various BrowserStack products and the platform, and how you can make AI a natural part of your entire testing and test management process as well. So without further ado, we'll just get started with the introductions. Until next slide. Cool. Today's speakers, we have Ankit Jain. He is a Senior Director of Product Management and currently spearheads our test management and scanner products. So Ankit, if you could give a quick introduction about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ankit. I lead products at BrowserStack, and the test management product today that we are going to speak about is being run by my team. Been part of BrowserStack for around 2 years now. Have earlier led products at Atlassian, Hopin, and some other companies. So look forward to a great session, share what we are building, what is our vision for AI in test management, and we'll look forward to an interactive session post that.
Thanks, Ankit. The next speaker will be myself, Ansel D'Souza. I'm a senior custom engineer here at BrowserStack. I essentially help customers understand where BrowserStack can contribute to their testing process, and I try to ensure that the customers derive the most value they can out of the BrowserStack line of products. So cool. There are a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Today's session will run for approximately 60 minutes. The session is being recorded, and this recording will be made available to the attendees who have joined the webinar. All participants will be on mute to enable the presenters to go ahead and present without any interruptions. That being said, if you have any comments or Q&A, there'll be a dedicated 15-minute slot towards the end where we'll try to answer all those questions. And in between, if you have any questions or want to add anything, you can use the Zoom Q&A window and send your questions across there. Cool. So Ankit, over to you. We can get started.
Sure. Thanks, Ansel. Folks, I think to start and kick off this, just level setting what we all perhaps believe is a ground truth. And it is that customers really want the best of the class software products at any point of time. This is a famous quote from Jeff Bezos that you would have heard. One thing I love about our customers is that they are divinely discontent. So whatever else is happening on the technology front in the industry in terms of new tools, new ways of building product, the customers, of course, always want the best in the class, best quality product, and that's where it all stems from. We all are here to strive to serve the customers as best as possible and live up to their expectation. That also means that as few of the players in the industry, in the market, raise the bar on software quality, the goodness of the product experience, it of course becomes incumbent on every other player to also follow suit. Otherwise, we'll fall behind, the business will fall behind. So customers getting a taste of what can be really great, best in class, kind of sets bar for everyone else to match that and keep trying to raise the bar further. Now, this picture here kind of says that for all the AI developments that we are seeing in the market, we are seeing all the players, all the companies trying to adopt AI and trying to get into that race of, again, living up to the customer expectation. What they have heard is the new ways of building product, new ways of experiencing product, new ways of getting value in the product. Many of us are at the starting line of it. In fact, or we could be in the very early first lap of this very long race that we are going to encounter. And I'll share more of our perspective from BrowserStack, how we feel about it. But again, just to reiterate that customers will always want the best from us. And all of us are racing to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve. and we wouldn't want to fall behind in that race. And even within this race, many of us are in their early laps of this journey, right? So the race is long. It's going to be a good, exciting time ahead. But we, of course, need to start off the start line and don't want to get stuck there. So bringing both of those points together, what customers need and how companies are trying to match to those customer expectations, uh, it's a given that every company needs testing to enable quality while ensuring testing is not a bottleneck, right? Uh, Two parts to it. Customers need best-in-class experiences, and that means not just one particular kind of aspect of product or one particular experience out of the product. It is all the underlying different things that you are having a great performing product, the functionality is great, security is taken care of, the product is living up to all the accessibility standards, the compatibility with your previous platforms is great, etc., etc. So it's a bunch of things which, whether explicitly a customer mentions, let's say in a B2B scenario, or is implicitly understood as part of the understanding of having a great product, customers want all of these different parts to be covered, which means as a product team and as a testing team, we are going to make sure that these aspects are well taken care of. So it's a very broad aspect, multiple different kind of flavors of goodness that have to be ensured. But while this is happening, the other reality also of business and our life is that the increasing adoption of agile and DevOps acceleration means that product release cycles are collapsing. Products are being released on a weekly level, daily level, sometimes hourly level, and which means that if the production of the software is happening at that faster cycle, the testing also has to keep pace with it. So with teams moving from waterfall to agile or a combination of even agile and waterfall for some teams, the ground reality is that the cycle time of release of software is collapsing from months to weeks to hours. So both of these aspects, that the customer needs great quality across multiple things, but also we have to ensure that all of this is happening in a very short time, is the truth of the business, truth of how we are operating. Now, with this, let me also level set a bit on how overall we as an industry, testing industry, have evolved. I think for most of you, this will not be a new information, but again, to reiterate that we have moved, let's say in a cycle of decades, 10 years, if you want to call it out, from manual testing towards automation testing, and progressively become better at automation, right? So let's say till year 2010, that was the progress that we made as an industry. More automation and more standardized automation happened, which meant that each team is not tackling automation in the manner which they come up with the solution, but there are standard ways and common ways of doing things, best practices, common language to speak about it. But now from 2010 onwards, with more cloud software, DevOps, we are seeing a couple of, I think, shifts happening. We have entered the cloud era, and now we are entering into the AI era of building products. Also, with CI/CD becoming more popular, there has been a progressively more push to go shift left, which means your testing is not happening delayed into the release cycle of the product, but is happening much earlier. More bugs should be caught much earlier into the development cycle and not let it be focused for the last part of the overall SDLC. And more, this will become AI assisted, right? So the purpose of this slide effectively is to say that our industry will continuously go through this evolution. Let's say first 30 years, in another 10 years, we have been going through the journey of automation, plus things governed because of the cloud and DevOps penetration, the CI/CD penetration. And now we are facing the new future forward, which is governed by more automation assisted by AI, right? In this framework, now let's jump into speaking about AI, right? We set the context of what the customers want, how the companies want to move very fast, product development life cycles are shortening, and as a result, the testing industry itself has been evolving to keep pace with how the rest of the tech industry has been evolving. But now AI in itself is going to be a game changer, and it will reshape how we build software going forward. Now, the the chart on the left side, the figure on the left side, uh, it's it says that our first encounter with AI, what we typically understand as machine learning, would have happened around maybe 15, 20 years. Some of you may have heard about it. And we kept engaging with it, but there was not a very deep penetration into product building and our day-to-day productivity or the ways we operate. But it was more of an academic and research field with some import on the products and how we build things. Then came deep learning, perhaps 6, 7 years ago, when we started seeing more examples of how AI can be very effective in solving some hard problems, whether it is image recognition or even other aspects of AI, whether it is competing in AlphaGo, etc. Right? So this became next set of things where it evolved. And in last 2.5 years, we have been hearing about generative AI, right? So as ChatGPT came on the forefront, generative AI became a household name. Now all of us know about it, and we are speaking about what AI can do using the generative AI paradigm. And now, very recently, in last 6 months, we have been speaking about agentic AI, right? And in fact, what is not covered in this slide, we have just not stopped at agentic AI. In fact, in last couple of months, we have been hearing about MCP, Model Context Protocol, more ways in which the big tech companies and core model owners are bringing new and new aspects of AI to be present in the market and be a very functional part of our building products, right? So, in a nutshell, we believe as BrowserStack that machine learning or AI is not a new concept that we all are hearing about, but two things are happening. The progress in actually productizing that AI for building products, making it a useful technology which all of us can use to build products as well as improve our internal productivity and processes. That has been rapidly changing in the recent past. And the AI field in itself has been evolving very rapidly. What used to take maybe 10 years or 6 to 7 years or 5 years to evolve to the next stage is now collapsing to a couple of years, and now in 6 months time frame, maybe now it will go to a monthly time frame, right? We'll keep hearing so many new developments about it, and it's very hard to keep up with what's happening, right? So while this is happening, that the disruption is happening at a very fast pace, couple of more things to understand and maybe uh, level set on. AI disruption is real and it is happening on ground. Maybe again, when generative AI came into the forefront, when ChatGPT just arrived, the ChatGPT 2 and ChatGPT 3 versions of it, many of us would have had skepticism about whether this is a real technology. Will it really solve anything? Does it really have the intelligence that it promises? Or is it just a toy problem? But I'm assuming that now that we have passed the journey of last 2.5 years, I think that skepticism has reduced quite a lot. We know for sure that it can solve certain aspects of problem, if not everything 100%. But yes, it is something to reckon with. It is here to stay. It will be a factor to consider, a strong factor to consider as we move forward. Again, in building products, how customers and consumers use products, how we ourselves operate on a day-to-day basis. So that disruption is real and happening. And in some areas, for example, customer support, that disruption is been actively integrated into the working of the team. So if not for all teams, for example, it may not be 100% right now for development team or product teams or QA teams. For some teams like customer support and sales, this is now a ground reality. But given all the noise and the disruption, which is real, the other dimension of truth also is that AI transformation is a multi-year marathon. While the noise around it is, of course, always surrounding us, the changes which are happening uh, from a experiment and evolution of the AI technology, the actual implementation on the ground, of course, takes more time. It's not like day one technology is released and tomorrow you start seeing the impact of it. So the full transformation across the industry, across enterprises, across all customers will take more time than what we really feel. So it's a marathon. It's a good 10 to 20 years journey, even though noise is great. And all of us are in the first 3 to 4 years. Some may be right at the starting point that you're thinking about deploying AI, and some of us may have already covered the first 2, 3 years of that journey, right? But in any case, this is a much longer journey than just a 2 year or 3 year horizon, right? Now, as we are adopting AI, and also related to the first point that the disruption is real, what's happening is that we have moved past the stage of believing in the first place that this flavor of AI, does this evolution of AI has any ground intelligence into it, has any core intelligence into it, or what is the flavor of that intelligence, what it can really solve. In the areas that it is well established that it can create value, the conversation is now moving to the other aspects of typical industrialization of a new technology, right? Or the productization of a new technology. So we are now talking about speed, whether when we deploy AI and somebody engages with AI, are we really getting the outcomes at the pace, at the speed that we want? Is AI able to give us the answers that we are looking for at the right speed? And then even further, what is the cost of getting that value out of AI, right? So we are now, in fact, moving away from can this work to yes, it works, but what will it cost to make it work, right? So we are now in the phase of ROI and the business value that we are getting rather than just getting some sense of whether this really works, right? So that's another important aspect as you engage with AI and try to bring it into your products and your productivity. This will be a very important aspect. All software we believe will be built AI first. Gradually, there are some startups and new players that have come up in very established categories, which are now using AI or being AI first or AI native to completely change the experience of that category, whether it is image editing, video editing, or even it's note taking and many other use cases. The interfaces themselves will evolve as we move to agentic AI and newer forms of AI. So, which means that some of the testing processes that we have developed as an industry, as a testing community, because the product itself is changing, it is incorporating AI, it is becoming AI first, the surface area is changing. Our way of testing those products will also evolve because the standard user interface testing will not work in this new environment. And also, when anybody is looking at deploying this AI for whether their internal use or surfacing it for their end customer, because of the nature of how AI evolution is happening, a mere wrapper over core models or having only a very small delta over core models is not going to be the aha moment for your customers because now everybody knows what is possible using core models. The actual value will be delivered when there is a much more deeper solution which is created using those core models. A lot more engineering is required to make a real impression and solve real values here. I'll cover in more slides what I really mean by this. But these are again the two aspects which we believe will be happening along this journey as we move forward, right? And lastly, let's say an elephant in the room. If we are having AI first software in AI first ways of testing, there is a concern that whether it will lead to lesser human involvement in testing, whether it will reduce the number of headcount folks required, impact jobs, etc. We believe that given that there is going to be AI for software, more software is going to be created, different kinds of software will be created. It will lead to more kinds of testing to be deployed. So AI for software translate into more need for testing more complex workflows than reducing the overall need for testing or human involvement in testing, right? So that's a belief we have. So again, level setting, this is how we believe how AI is shaping software and how it will shape testing going forward. Now, as a culmination of all of this, right, to synthesize and crystallize what it actually means on the ground, uh, for a testing team, for a quality team, if you look at the x-axis, this means how we are progressing as an industry, as a function, as a discipline. We are moving from manual testing to automated testing to AI assisted testing. These are the phases that the teams are going through. Uh, and there are two aspects which will be very obvious or will shine through all of this noise. One is that as you move from more manual to automated testing and automated to AI assisted testing, by the virtue of technology, the cycle time of testing will keep coming down. You will be able to do testing faster. And in parallel, the test coverage will also keep going up because you can handle more volume of tests, more scenarios, more edge cases. So if I combine all of this, the cycle time reduction and test coverage increase, overall productivity of team should keep on going up. Or the promise of this movement from manual to automated to AI assisted testing, the proof should be that your productivity is increasing. So our vision of AI impact, synthesizing all the different aspects of what is happening in the industry and where we see the impact will really come translate on the ground, is a team should be able to enjoy a 50% increase in testing productivity by next year. Those who are embarking on this journey should be able to realize this value, realize this business value, realize this productivity gain as we move forward. And currently, we all are here very early in the journey. Maybe you have already seen some productivity increase, but to get a real 50% increase across the board, we all will have to walk that journey, walk the path to get that real value, not just a POC or a toy problem solved, real impact across your teams. So when we speak about 50%, one important aspect is that why are we saying 50%, right? Uh, we would break any testing activity or any team's overall testing activity into these broad buckets of testing workflows, right? You go through test planning, then creating your tests, you execute your test, and then you validate your test, right? This is a simple way, let's say, to structure the workflow. And within each of these broad buckets, you have a bunch of smaller steps to be taken, different things that you do to actually do planning, creation, execution, and validation, right? So I'll not read all of them, but you can see these are different things that you and your teams engage on a regular basis. Now, if I count all of these sub points, maybe there are a good 35, 25, 30, 40 points here, and there could be even more depending upon your team. If the main point I want to emphasize is that if you get productivity increase in, let's say, one of those sub bullet points, you have figured out a good tool or you have built internally some tool using AI, the productivity gain will happen for that particular area, but it will not add up to your entire 50% productivity gain or for your entire set of things that you're doing because it is not available for all of those different areas. So you need productivity gain in many of these areas, in fact, most of these areas, so that you get an end-to-end 50% productivity increase. Otherwise, one or two of the use cases can be really rich in solution. You can get good leverage, but they may not solve for the promise of getting entire team's productivity boost up to 50%, right? So effectively, our belief is that it's not just about solving one sliver of the problem on one small part of the problem using AI. If you have to think holistically, we'll have to think about all of these different activities which happen inside a testing team. All of them should gain productivity gain. And when it adds up end to end, then you get a full promised boost in productivity, which we believe can be up to 50% across all these different use cases. Now, when we move forward from here, that was the first part of our vision. The second is that for AI to be really effective, you need to provide it good context, good data on which it can act to give you the outcomes. I think that's a truism which all of us know about. But because your testing activity is distributed across multiple different kinds of activities and also across different kind of tools, the AI agents may or may not have access to that data, the end-to-end data to really produce the results. So one of our other belief is that if you have access to a unified data where all your testing, when it is being done, all the data is being captured into a common layer, that's when AI agents will be able to deliver even more value rather than standalone use cases, right? That will lead to superior AI performance because you'll have better data context and more accurate and reliable response, right? So this is another vision that as you use BrowserStack products, which try to cover all of these different scenarios, all your data is consolidated into a single platform, and any AI agent, when it is being run, gets the benefit of that end-to-end visibility of data to produce better outcomes, right? So that's our vision, second part of the vision. So I'll not speak about the second part here because that refers to all the different products that we are building and our platform that we are creating. In this session, I'll focus on the first part of the vision, which is you have so many different testing sub activities happening. Let's call them jobs to be done or the activities that you do. We want to focus on what BrowserStack is doing across all of them in this session. So as we speak, BrowserStack is developing 30 plus agents across all of these use cases. Why 30 plus? Again, going back to that previous picture, we have these many activities and perhaps even more that we can attack and really bring value for the teams that work with us. If you look at the bold boxes here, these are the type of testings which usually happen. AI automated automated testing, AI-powered test monitoring, AI-assisted manual testing, and smart test planning. And across these, then the other boxes are where these different agents are being developed by BrowserStack to assist in each of these areas. So there are good 30 plus agents here, and very strong investment being done by BrowserStack. Some 200 engineers are being put on the task to develop all these different agents for you. And I'm now going to share what are the specifics of this, right? So I want to then showcase what we are doing in our test management product. We are thinking, reimagining this product grounds up with AI. I know this is a category which has existed for a long time. You've already indicated some of the tools that you're using. This is how BrowserStack is approaching this problem and bringing AI to it. So one of the first agents, and that's where we saw the most interest, I think the most obvious one, is the test case generator agent. This is embedded inside our current tool. And this has two parts. First part is where you can share a manual prompt as well as any PRD, product requirements document, and ask the AI to generate scenarios and test cases. So it's a requirements-based test creation. Uh, think of a scenario where you're doing manual testing and you know that there are some 80%, 90% of functional use cases or other use cases also that you want to cover, but you want to focus on the last mile, more specific use cases, but you want assistance in this. So this is a great tool for that purpose that helps you shortcut a lot of process and a lot of time to get there. And the other one, which is in conjunction with this, it has a sub part, is the autofilling of test case details. So once you have created the scenarios and the test cases, the other part of this agent helps you fill all the details like the description of it, the preconditions, the test steps, the failure scenarios, the priority, the tagging, etc. Right? So it enables you to fully flesh out the test cases that you are generating, right? Which again is I would believe is a lot of saving of time once you see this in action. So we'll do a demo of this. But this is an area that we are heavily investing in because this touches most of the manual testing test cases definitely. And a lot of time goes in this activity when testing team is engaged in it. So we think that we can create a lot of value for teams using our test management product and using the AI embedded inside it. Again, to give you a bit of a picture of what you will see in the demo, but you can assume that's like a early version of the product that we have launched. Again, going back to that example of we are all in the very early stages of adopting AI, and AI itself is evolving, right? So as we release this into the market, as people have started using it, we've also got a ton of feedback and deeper use cases that we are investing in solving to really make sure that this doesn't just become a gimmicky thing that you engage with, but you're not able to adopt it really on a day-to-day basis with your teams. So to set the context, think of an AI agent as, let's say, one engine in which you are giving some input and you're getting some output. On the input side, when we have spoken with different teams, our first version right now can take a PDF and understand that to be a PRD. But many teams tell us that either we don't even create PRDs, we are a more agile team, we have user stories in Jira, or we don't, even if we are creating those artifacts, it is not in PDF, it is in other formats. So we want to make sure that whatever is your current process, you continue using that, but our tool can be helpful, assistive in your current working style. So whether it is any type of document, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, images, more, or content which is embedded into different other kinds of tools, because you're not creating a formal PRD, but there is a different representation of PRD, whether it is in Figma, Draw.io, InVision, even a Confluence page, right, or Jira stories, or some videos. We would want to ingest any of that for creating that context. And also not just stick to this, but also get context from your past PRDs or entire test suites or entire Jira workspace to have a much richer context, right? And because we are building for the global audience, we started with English, but we have been getting requests to support other languages. So how do we support ingesting requirements or artifacts in different languages, other languages? And on the output side, assume you have ingested all of this, then how do we ensure that the tests which are being created fit the testing philosophy or the testing style of your team? The test case outputs, some teams have asked us that can we do in Gherkin style or BDD format or any other user provided custom format. Um, Also sub use cases like I want to create test cases only for accessibility use cases or performance use cases. or that I will manually create all my P0 higher priority test cases, but I want assistance in all the long tail test cases that need to be created, P1, P2 test cases, edge cases, etc. Right? So you want to give that flexibility to our end users that you can choose what kind of assistance you want. And again, an analogous of the input side of language, you get test cases in the output side of the language as well. We already support Ukrainian language. We want to support more languages, and they are coming soon, right? And all of this, while this happens, we want to ensure that this happens with full control on privacy, transparency, accountability. You get to see exactly what is happening. You have full control of your data. I'll share more details on how we ensure all of this happens. And at the end, you get a seamless testing experience. Now, apart from the two big boxes that you're seeing about richer context and better output formats, I think the core that lies underneath all of this is that we want to make sure that your end-to-end experience of using a test case generator like agent is 100% tied to your context of how you work. So in fact, if you have seen the ChatGPT, Claude, or other products progress, on the similar lines, and even going beyond that, we want to tell you that if a test case has been generated, what context was used to generate that test case. If you want to modify that context, get to a different reference, we can assist you with that. If you want actions on top of generating the test case to manage the output, for example, you want to tag which test cases were created by AI for future auditing purposes or for any future manual review purpose, we are able to give you that end-to-end experience. If let's say we used AI or you used AI to generate test cases, but you figured out that partially the output is correct, but in some cases there has been some error or you want to handle that and do some recovery, you should be able to do that inline, well constructed, right? So the purpose to say all of this is that many of us, when we engage with AI for the first time, believe that the value sits inside that AI model, the language model, and it's about giving an input and getting an output, and that can solve the problem. But as we have worked upon this and we have gone deeper into it and our customers have gone deeper into it, we realize that that is just the tip of the iceberg. The real value lies in all the deeper context, the richer output, and end-to-end stitching of workflow so that any agent that you use, really you can adopt it end to end on a daily basis. It serves your purpose. It doesn't become onerous for you to use an agent or you lay it on the side because it actually is not meeting what you are doing on a day-to-day basis, right? So that's the deep promise and investment that we are doing as we build this product. So you'll see the demo, but these are the future aspects of that when as we are investing in it. And the other point is that when we are building this, apart from deeply thinking about the product value, product sense of this, we also want to make sure that you get the best in class outcomes from coverage, accuracy, and other parameters which are typical to a product like this. So it's our belief, and this we have done based on our internal benchmarking. We have a comprehensive test bed against which we do manual testing to make sure that we are populating these matrices for ourselves. The time to create metric, if you are running any of these PRDs, complex PRDs, without AI, of course, it will take you hours or days to create all the test cases. Goes without saying that when you're using an automated tool and something like AI, that will happen in minutes, right? Less than a minute for us. But the more important point is the coverage, right? That when you are running this agent, you are getting outcomes from BrowserStack which are over 90%. We believe that if this was being done manually, typically you will get 65 to 70% of coverage. And if you're using plain vanilla core models, ChatGPT, etc., and you throw a PRD at it and try to get outcomes, probably you'll get somewhere between 75 to 80%. So at BrowserStack, we want to make sure that you are getting 90% plus outcomes. Same for accuracy. For manual creation of test cases, it's very hard to say what is exactly the accuracy unless you replicate the whole thing. But on the chat GPT side or a pure vanilla model, we believe somewhere between 75 to 80% is the accuracy that you can get across different kinds of test cases and different scenarios. BrowserStack, we believe that we are at 90% based on our internal benchmarking. And the last column that you see, we want to hold ourselves accountable. We all want to hold ourselves to raise the bar in each of these areas so that you get almost 95% plus, close to 100% coverage, accuracy, and a very fast time to creation. As engineers and as people involved with technology, I think all of us will appreciate that Going from 0 to 80% is one level of effort, 80 to 90% is one level of effort, and 90 to 100 is another very different kind of a level of effort. So we are committed to investing those engineering resources, those dollars, that time, to make sure that this doesn't just become a gimmicky software for you, a gimmicky marketing pitch saying that, hey, we have AI. We are thinking deeply about both the product experience as well as the real value that you can get, and commit ourselves to these kind of numbers. So before I proceed to the next stage, one thing I'd like to request as you go through this and think about this in future, please utilize the free trial that we have of the product and throw as complex a PRD as you have in our test management tool to this agent and see for yourself whether it is living up to the promise that we are saying. And we would want to hear your feedback if it is not living up to that promise. But we want to hold ourselves accountable to that bar and really learn that if there are scenarios that we are not covering, make sure that that is happening, right? So it's kind of challenge that I take for my team. And I will please encourage for all of you to try this out whenever you get a chance and see whether it is living up to this level of coverage, accuracy, time to create that we are promising. Okay. Moving on, that was the first agent. And now I'm giving you a glimpse of two other agents that are going to very shortly come into the product. In fact, the number 3 agent is actually already out. The number two is in works and should come out pretty soon, within this month or early June. So the number 2 agent is about test selection agent. This takes out the guesswork of selecting what test cases should go in a test run. You don't want to be over testing. You don't want to be under testing. There are scenarios in which your old test repository has bloated a lot. And now for a test run, you are thinking about what exactly is the test cases that should go into it. Sometimes you may have a new team member who has come in, who is not aware of the entire repository, what already exists. There may be an onboarding that you're doing for a new team member or for even an existing team member. So there are these different scenarios in which this can be a really, really helpful agent. And then the other one is the low code authoring agent. So one of the things that we are promising and actively trying to bring to the market is, if you have manual test cases and you're using our test management product, and you are also using our low code automation product, then this kind of acts as a bridge between test management and low code automation. Using one click of the button, the test cases which exist, whether they have been manually written by you or they have been created by AI, doesn't matter what is the source of it. You can automate that test case via our low code automation engine to generate a script behind the scenes, which can be run by our low code automation tool on the websites to execute those steps. So if you think end to end, using the first agent and the third agent, it becomes almost like a one-click process where you upload the PRD. It allows you to generate, first of all the scenarios and test cases, then the test case details, and then you can automate those to a low-code authoring and then execute those, right? So we'll have a demo of this, but this can be really powerful for many of your functional testing scenarios. These are the two agents. Again, reiterating all the details that I shared earlier, we want to create superior AI capabilities for our customers, for people who are working with us. Unified data comes because you're using perhaps already some BrowserStack products, or in future you may want to use more products that helps consolidate your data into one place. By the way, I also want to say that all our agents will work effectively even if you are directly using in test management and are not using any other tool. But this is just to say that if you are using more products, if you take that choice, then it will be having even visibility of even more wider context of data, right? But we don't force any platform choice upon you that you have to use all the products. If you use them, you get richer context. And the other is, again, reiterating, we are using cutting edge AI models. We have, in fact, multiple models behind the scene, working in tandem, working together to create the outcomes that I just spoke about. We are able to get this because of our experience, long experience, over a decade experience in testing and knowing the nuances of different kind of testing scenarios, test cases. So we are taking all of that richness of information and our experience to purpose build this for testing, which is very different from a plain vanilla implementation of a chat GPT or any other core model. And of course, we want to be very privacy first, because all said and done, all the goodness of AI that we can bring into the market, it doesn't fly into your organizations. You're not able to use it if you're not able to ensure that the privacy and data protection is taken care of, right? So we want to make sure that that is happening. And as a further double click on what we are doing in privacy around this, and we can have more conversation. We are ensuring that your data is private and secure. We are not using your data to train our models or any third-party models. That is a promise that we make. It is all part of our terms and conditions. There is no data crossover which happens between different customers. So no data leakage from one side of a customer to other side. No PII data goes into those third-party AI tools. And importantly, you have full control over your data. So you can opt in and opt out of AI features at any point of time. If you generate something using AI, for example, test cases or any other artifact, you have full control to export that information. And in future, if you don't want to use AI, then you can have full control of that data for any other purpose that you need. And full transparency and accountability. We have a comprehensive documentation. We have a comprehensive terms and condition where we fully explain how this works behind the scenes, which models we are using. You can go publicly on those pages and check out all the information. Again, I want to emphasize that while we build all of this goodness from a product engineering lens, from a legal and compliance lens, also we are making sure that there should be no concern from you as you are using these things. You should have a peace of mind as you engage with BrowserStack and its AI products, right? So with this, I hand this over to Ansel, who will be doing the demo for the test management. Ansel, do you want to run it from here or from your machine?
As fine, Ankit.
Okay.
So folks, we'll get started with this walkthrough of how the two agents that Ankit spoke about work. So first being the suggesting of test cases via the PRD, and second being the test cases generated based on the PRD, how those details are populated and how that works. So yeah, I guess we can get started. So essentially, when you navigate to the BrowserStack test management platform, you'll see an icon to click on generate with AI. So once you go ahead and use that icon, essentially that opens a pop-up which lets you go ahead and upload a PRE document or add any prompt that you require as well. All of this information is secure, and we don't use customer data to train the models at all. So once you have gone ahead and taken a look at this, you can go ahead and upload the PRE document as well. Now, in this example, we are going ahead and using the Apple requirement document that contains information in regards to the whole checkout flow that Apple's website does have. So it covers the different products, the different customizations, and how you can go ahead and make use of that within the Apple website itself. Now, once you upload this PRE document, essentially the AI model will go ahead and generate different scenarios based on the content in that document. And based on the scenarios, we'll also make sure to generate different test cases that align to those scenarios as well. So when that happens, you will be able to see all the different test cases that have been generated. Here in this example, 61 test cases generated with 97% accuracy of coverage also from the PRD. And all of this in less than a minute. No more going across lengthy PRD documents and trying to make sure you have complete coverage. And also it's pretty quick in general, right? Now, after these test case scenarios are generated and the test cases are also suggested, even within the test cases, we make sure to go ahead and generate the description, preconditions, the different steps in the whole flow of that test case. Now, in this example over here, you can see all the details that have been generated. And you can go ahead and edit this also if you maybe want to change the priority, you want to go ahead and update the preconditions and so on as well. So that's what we're precisely doing over here. And once everything is good to go, you can go ahead and also save this test case. So here you can see we are adding all those test cases as well. And now we're saving that. So these are all the AI generated test cases with all the test case details as well. And you can see all of that populated over here. Now, the next biggest challenge of going ahead and performing QA is going ahead and also automating these test cases. So when you go to test management, once you've written out your test cases via AI or without as well, you'll see the option of automate using BrowserStack AI. So this leverages our local automation platform and all the context of the different steps and details you've essentially mentioned in this test case. And once you go ahead and click on this icon, essentially you will go ahead and be able to automate that test case, or we'll go ahead and automate the test case for you based on the context you have. In this example, we're taking a sample test case that essentially goes ahead and adds the AirPods as well as an iPhone 15 into the cart. As you can see, this is the flow of the automated test case. It'll select the AirPods for select no engraving. Then after that, go ahead and essentially add it to cart. Along with that, as we progress, you'll also see how the iPhone as well is added. So we'll just wait for that to happen and show you how that full end-to-end automation flow does work. Cool. Now it's navigated to the iPhone side. Now it'll go ahead and select the iPhone 15. It'll go ahead and select the black 128 version, which we specified in the actual test case itself. And accordingly, it'll also go ahead and add the same device to the cart. Similar to how your normal maybe script-based automation works, similarly, the AI capabilities will generate the end-to-end test case and automate it, and you'll be able to go ahead and automate your current manual test cases as well. After the test cases have been automated, you'll also be able to rerun them on the low-code automation platform. So you are able to reuse those test cases as well. But yeah, that pretty much walked you through the whole flow of how the generation to the actual automation does work. Now you can definitely go ahead and try this on the test management platform. Simply go onto the platform and get started, and you can try all these features as well. Now we'll have a quick poll also based on the demo, just to understand how the whole demo did flow with the folks, and if you're interested in trying out this feature as well.
Let's go to the questions. And folks, I know that we are running a little bit over time, but we'll try to cover as much as possible. Is it possible to use the AI you have for not UI testing, for API and DB testing in an end-to-end context for the rapid transfer of data through a system? So Matthew, we are working towards it. I think the current system can handle other non-functional testing use cases like accessibility, performance, but it will give you more of the context of how to set up that test case. Right now, it is manual testing. We are not currently recommending any API and DB testing in this, but that's another set of scenarios that we would want to cover. But you will get many other kinds of non-functional testing use cases recommended in those scenarios covered, even if you have not specifically express them as part of your PRD, right? The other one is, would the AI need to be trained to recognize and deal with change? Could an AI deal with change in application and report the types of changes as positive for intended and unintentional changes? So Matthew, two parts to it. I think generally what we have understood speaking to multiple people. One is that there is a quality of requirement documents, which has come as a feedback from the field, that I would want to test whether the input which is being provided itself is of the right quality. So we are working on that. That can help the QA teams to engage with their product teams to say that we need a better quality of PRD to actually move forward. So I think that's doing a more quality of the context kind of help. And the second part is for any delta change which happens or incremental change that happens, we are working also on taking those input. Remember the slide where I had at the bottom the context assistance. So we are working on this piece that if something has changed further on your top of your PRD, we can create a reference to the existing PRD and then be able to say what is the delta and suggest the delta test cases. There will be a bunch of multiple smaller sub scenarios here, but the larger point is, yes, we are working on the delta piece. Right now, that is not available in the product, but that's part of the investment that we are doing next. Really looking forward to seeing how AI is being used in BrowserStack. Always great to see practical examples. Thanks, Yashika, for that. How productivity is defined on point 15 slide. For us, productivity here means that the number of testing scenarios that you're able to cover in a given time frame, you are able to cover more of those scenarios in that time frame. So we are taking that as a proxy for productivity, that your 50% more testing scenarios are getting covered in the same time frame, right? Of course, each team will have a more specified or more sophisticated way of measuring this. But the bigger point is that your velocity and volume should be much higher than what it is right now. Different ways of measuring of it, but more testing scenarios can get covered in lesser number of time. If I don't have a Zoom account, can I still access to the record of session? Gabriel, I think it should be, but Abhinav, Ansel, you can help with this. If there's no Zoom account, can I still access the record of session?
Yeah, once every attendee will be able to get a link to the recording of the webinar. We'll definitely make sure to share that across.
Cool. Yashika asked, is this AI BrowserStack developed or based on any existing AI in the current market? So Yashika, both are true actually. We are of course using core LLM models provided by different companies, which I said that you can go on our TNC page and look at all the different models that we are using. But of course, to give you these superior results, we are building on top of that. There is custom engineering on our side that we do to give you the results. So yes, it is based on existing, but we then invest a lot on top of that to give you these results. If you if you have tried to do AI, even test case generation using AI, you would see the difference, which is why please try out the product and you will see the difference that we are speaking about. Kate asks, you need to add the price to the second question. Good point, Kate. We should do that as well. But right now, again, I'll reiterate, you can go and try out the product free of charge. It is unlimited usage. We have not right now put any limitation in terms of number of things that you can do. Please go and utilize at least to get a flavor of it, that whether it is really helpful or not. Then hopefully the price question comes up after that. It could be actually, if you wanted to focus on the most important factor for selection of test management, then in my head appeared depends for whom. Fair point, MM. I think in the limitation of the format that we have, we wanted to get some segmentation of what is most important for you to make a selection, but a valid point. Would AI support specific test cases format like Gherkin? Yes, Sergey, we already support that. Gherkin format can be generated by AI. Please let us know if it suffices or you want to see something else. But yes, this can support right now. Kate, is the BrowserStack AI tool better for test case creation than ChatGPT? Yes, Kate, that's what we want to believe. We have presented also the metrics we believe can ascertain that. But of course, at all the proof of the pudding lies in when you use it and you believe that it is better. Please go and try it out. Anonymous, which AI models are you using behind the scenes? OpenAI and others. Again, please go on our TNC page and you can see all the details there. We have OpenAI, Anthropic, and others as well. Is it possible to upload a screenshot for test case creation? We don't have traditional documentation. That very soon should be available. As I said, we want to ingest multiple different types of format and types of content for that purpose. But even for you to try it right now, you can take that screenshot, create a PDF out of it, and probably add more context on how what exactly is the feature and what the product is doing. You embed the image inside the PDF and upload. The current agent can read that image and generate test cases. So please try that. Yes, it is a one-step more process because of the limitation of PDF format. But at least for trying and seeing what it can generate, you can do that. And then we are investing in bringing direct availability of images and other upload types for our agent. Are you trying to marketing your own product? I didn't get that question, but okay. Yes, the purpose of this webinar is also to introduce you what our products are doing. I don't know how else to answer that question. Agree with Tal. Is this AI BrowserStack developed or based on existing AI in the current market? This I have already answered, Yashika. Are there any limitation and special consideration users should be aware of regarding the AI's capability? I don't think there are any limitations, special considerations. Please be aware of all the privacy nuances, all the terms and conditions, which is why we are being very upfront about it. Everything is transparent. And in terms of limitations, no such limitation, but it could be that when you actually use different kind of scenarios of testing, you may see that some are very well covered, some may not be, which is where we need that feedback that though from our side, we feel we are covering a good amount of scenarios. Please let us know what you are not seeing, or if there's something particular to your industry also, let's say you're in healthcare or banking, there are certain regulations against which you want to test or create test cases. Please let us know if you're not seeing those test cases be generated for you. How reliable is the automation suite created by AI? Will it handle dynamic data? Will it have self-healing feature? Gopika, yes, it is reliable. I think, in fact, the self-healing feature is one part of the presentation we could not cover because of paucity of time. But we do have self-healing AI agent already available in our automated testing product as well as the low-code automated testing product. Please go and again have a look. This is very much available, so you can do this in the low-code automation tool and the generated script that we have. Do you have any AI test creation tools available currently for mobile apps as opposed to web? And if not, can you share when that should be available? So the AI test creation tool is available. I mean, it can generate test cases for mobile apps itself. If your question is that, is there a mobile interface for our test management product? That is not there. But if you're trying to test your mobile apps and want to create test cases around it, that definitely should be possible. The test case creation tool has no limitation that you are testing a web application or a mobile application and what is your target platform for creating those test cases.
Ankit, I think with respect of time as well, we'll probably take those other questions offline. Folks, for any other questions that are unanswered, we'll definitely make sure to reach out and share a proper response to that as well. So folks, I think that pretty much wraps up today's session. Hope it was exciting and also you got a lot out of the session as well. Hope everyone also tries to add AI into the testing workflow, given the day and age that we are at the moment, and generate benefits out of it. But thank you for joining today's session. Hope you had a great session and hope to see you in further sessions that BrowserStack does conduct.
Folks, feel free to reach out directly or via LinkedIn. There's a lot more that could be shared, but in this format, we have a limitation of time. Very recently, we have done in-person events at Brussels, Madrid, Warsaw, in different cities in Europe, and we had a great engagement. But those sessions typically run for 2-3 hours, and there's a lot more engagement. So if you've not been able to address any question or you want more discussion, please reach out via different channels and LinkedIn if you want. Thanks for being a great audience. I would love to see you try the product and share feedback with us. Thank you, everyone.